Aloha everybody and welcome to part 5 of Sonic Unleashed. Hey guys, do you remember Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Sonic Adventure? Well, how about another version of Sky Chase?
Here comes the parade!
I've got this one, Sonic. Tornado, battle mode engaged.
Alrighty, so we have a unique level that, there's actually only 2 of these levels in the whole entire game, but this is the first one. And it's basically a reimagined Sky Chase from Sonic Adventure. We're on the top of the tornado as it flies through the sky, and a lot of enemies are trying to come and kill us. But how do you take them out? Well, one of the buttons will appear underneath the ship, and you push the corresponding buttons to destroy them. It's basically Quick Time Event, the level. You don't control how the ship flies, you do not aim or dodge out of the way of attacks. You have to blow those ships up before they attack you. And if you're missing shots, your energy starts going down, but if you're consecutively hitting everything perfectly and not missing any shots and not overshooting, you should be full health, you should have full energy, you should be pretty damn fine. I mean, it's not as enjoyable as Sky Chase and Sonic Adventure because that was more of a Star Fox kind of experience where you were actually dodging at things and, you know, locking onto stuff, but hey, if you like quick time events, if you like pushing buttons that appear on screen, if you have good hand-to-eye coordination, I guess you'll get a kick out of this. I do love the theme song of this level, though. It's very soothing. It's very relaxing. This entire soundtrack is great, but, you know, it's very calming to the soul. Earlier in the last cutscene in Part 4, Tails called it the Tornado 1. But I do recall that in Japan, or at least on certain like versions of this game, there was like a Tornado 3 reference. Like they literally painted Tornado 3 somewhere on the plane. So I don't know if it was like a lost in translation thing, or if it was a beta, or if it was switched around. But originally, it seems like this is supposed to be the Tornado 3, but Tails just calls it the Tornado 1, because what the hell? You want to bring back the old red plane that we loved so much before the egg carrier shot it down? It's a classic! Who doesn't love the tornado? Even though it extends and goes crazy into like X's and stuff. I don't know. This level's by far the hardest to S rank. I'm including everything because basically you can't miss once, essentially. You have to have a huge combo like I do right now, and then when you get to the later part of this, you can't miss at all. You have to make sure you hit everything up until the ranking screen pretty much shows up. And it's infuriating!
What is that thing?
Well, Sonic, prepare to be sunk!
Remember, Doctor, it is not yet complete. Handle it gently.
Silence!
Looks like we've got to beat that thing to get by.
Go! Fire all weapons!
Alrighty, so this is the boss. This is the Egg Cauldron! Yeah, the Egg Cauldron. It's still QTE, the game. Basically, he sends out all these little pilot ships, you shoot those down, and when his opening comes out, it'll tell you like 5 X's or 5 Y's or 5 whatever you're supposed to press, and you just do that until, you know, you whittle his health down. Obviously, now we have a time limit on the top left. If we're not taking out the Egg Cauldron in time, well, that'll be fatal. So you want to make sure every time the little opening pops open, you definitely need to make sure all of your shots count. And this is where my S rank was cost, because not very early into the Egg Cauldron fight, I screwed up one of the button presses, and then well, my 90+ combo, it went back and reset, and now my score is not as high as it could be. It is bullshit, I say! Bullshit! But otherwise, this fight's pretty simple, and this level's really nothing you can't handle. Again, it's just hand-to-eye coordination. You see the X button, push X. You see the Y button, push Y. That's pretty much all there is to it.
Energy levels dropping! What a disaster! Retreat!
So yeah, that's QTE the level. This game is fond of its QuickTime events, but we'll be seeing more of them as the game progresses.
Yay! Made it, Sonic!
No problem!
I'm an ace pilot, but I only got a B rank. Because I screwed up the 90,000, or the 90 hit combo and stuff, you know? It's too exact. You can't miss a shot. It's bullshit. I should have gotten at least an A. I made it to the boss fight without missing. I mean, come on. Come on! Yeah. But anywho, ladies and gentlemen, we left Apatos, and now we have ended up in a new city. This is the city of Spagonia. Tails believes that a certain professor named Professor Pickle can help us understand what is happening to the world and what Eggman has unleashed. And, we're going to go see Professor Pickle soon. Till then, I'm going to be talking to all these people here in Spagonia, because, you know, I really love this about Sonic Unleashed. The humans. Throughout the series, this attention to realism, you know, this trying to make everything realistic and make the humans look out of place. I've never gotten why Sonic Adventure 2 onwards, they kept making, like, the president and his secretary and Maria and the gun commander and all the Soliana people. I don't know why they insisted on trying to make these characters all realistic looking, thin, you know, nice looking faces and stuff. Here, Sonic Unleashed finally understands that, you know, when Sonic 06 came out, we hated the realistic look. We hated how much it clashed with Sonic and how it just totally did not fit. Sonic the Hedgehog is a cartoon. It should feel like a cartoon, you know? And so I'm talking to all the citizens here in Spagonia, and they got like little thin, you know, wide faces. They got these cartoony, exaggerated models. They look like they belong in a Pixar movie. They look like they belong in, like, Toy Story or The Incredibles or something, you know? And that's what humans should be in the Sonic universe. Finally, they look like they belong in the same, you know, kind of spot that Dr. Eggman does. I mean, Dr. Eggman has always been, like, completely contrast to all the other humans in previous games. You look at Gun Commander, and then you look at Dr. Eggman, and you're like, why the fuck does Eggman look so ludicrous and ridiculous in comparison to this guy? And I know it's because he's, you know, the villain, and he's batshit crazy, but he puts animals into robots. But even still, there's gotta be a little bit of a consistency where you can believe that Dr. Eggman occupies the same universe as Gun Commander, or the President, or whatever. And now, finally, I have a game, Sonic Unleashed, where I could believe Dr. Eggman is like these people, you know? Sure, he wears a fancy red jacket, he has sunglasses, but he's just cartoony enough along with these people that it fits. This is the kind of characters they should have had from the get-go. But anywho, this is Spagonia University. It's quite the place. And here's where we're going to find Professor Pickle. But I love the Spagonia theme as well. I'm going to be saying this about every continent and every city and everything, but I just love the soundtrack so much. I can't help but gush about it. I mean, it builds an atmosphere, this game, you know? I know some people complain that the levels, like the scenery, kind of is a little bit too realistic for Sonic. But I think that the character models and the sense of humor that all the cutscenes have, and the great music, I think that all kind of off-puts the scenery that Sonic is running around in. But I'll talk about why that is later.
What? Professor Pickle's been kidnapped?
It was a little bit before the tremors hit. This old man showed up with a whole pack of robots. They carried poor Professor Pickle off, lab data and all.
It can't be.
That sure sounds like Eggman.
What a horrible thing to do. We've got to go help that professor guy out, and fast. If he got kidnapped that long ago, he's got to be real hungry by now. And if I was that hungry, I don't know how long I would last. I'd rather be dead.
sure Eggman is feeding him. Even he's not that cruel.
Okay. Let's go and find the professor.
Here is where we actually have to talk to the townspeople in order to find out where Professor Pickle has been taken. This is like one of the only times in the game where you actually have to talk to most of the people in town. Sonic Unleashed is pretty great, where its hub worlds are not usually mandatory to go looking around and talking to people. Usually you could just go right to the gate and play a level, or go see Professor Pickle, because he's the guy you're always going to for information and stuff. But in this one instance, talking to all the kids, you could find out that Professor Pickle seems to have ended up in the village of Missouri. And so, maybe we should go look for him over there. So that's it for Spagonia. We don't have to play a level here yet, but we will return because this place is... it's so fantastic. But next stop is Missouri, and Missouri is basically Africa. Spagonia was sort of like an Italy stand-in. Apatos was sort of like a Greek Mykonos kind of stand-in. And here we are in the village of Missouri, and it's very African. This game in Japan is actually not called Sonic Unleashed. It's called Sonic World Adventure. And the reason it's called that, well, Sonic is traveling the world. He's going to all kinds of places that are inspired by real-life locations and stuff. And again, the thing that makes this game stand out is that, you know, like, I love the cartoony characters, I love the fun cutscenes, and some people will be like, yeah, but these locations aren't very Sonic-like. I mean, there's no Green Hill Zone, there's no, you know, crazy, wacky forests or wacky, like, mountains and, you know, very Sonic-type stuff. You wouldn't see a location like Mystic Mansion from Sonic Heroes in this kind of game. And I totally get that, you know, argument. I get that complaint. But at the same time, this game is trying to build a fun little atmosphere where it's about Sonic spanning the globe, and it's based on real-life locations and stuff. And it's totally fine with me for this game, just because they finally made the humans look good, and the cutscenes are funny and stuff, so that I don't mind that I'm going through some sort of photorealistic locations. But at the same time, it's totally pissing on Sonic 06's realism by having much, much, much better graphics, that everything just looks stunning, and it's so fun to walk around and see the streets of Spagonia, or see the huts of Missouri, that I just think the art design and the visuals of this game is phenomenal. I just love the atmosphere of this game, even though it doesn't really look like the same Sonic universe that has Green Hill Zone. But, you know, it's not a perfect game. It would be nice to see other Sonic-esque stuff, but at the same time, when you're in Apatos, when you're going through Windmill Isle, you're still running through loop-de-loops and stuff, you know. So, yeah. As always, every time you visit a new hub world, look out for the sun and moon medals. Even when you come to the gate areas, like this area over here, there will always be sun and moon medals hiding around. And once again, if you push pause and look in the bottom right corner, you can see how many you are missing, or how many you have collected. And, hey, an elephant! How you doing? But, anywho, Dr. Eggman has kidnapped Professor Pickle. He has brought him to a secret base in Missouri. And, this is the gate hub world. And right now, I cannot control where I can go. I can only control so much that the game lets me, because I'm not really that far in the game. I can't be daytime Sonic right now. I can't even leave Missouri, because if you try, they're like, hey, we haven't found Professor Pickle yet. So far, things are a little bit linear, but things do start to open up, and yeah. Right now, I'm just showing you where 2 of the moon medals are. This isn't where I actually have to go, but I need those medals. Some levels I can't play, so I'm still looking out for them. The sun medals I can't pick up. I still have to be regular Sonic in order to get those, so we'll see that later. But here's another mechanic of the HD gameplay, that is moving blocks around. Again, Kratos did this in God of War, so why wouldn't the Werehog do it in Sonic Unleashed? But, it's a big mechanic of the game, and it's one of the reasons I don't like the Missouri werehog level. But, you know, we're going to be seeing that in Part 6, because, well, it's been 15 minutes. I like to keep these videos 15 minutes when I can. So, in Part 6, ladies and gentlemen, we shall check out the Missouri Nighttime Savannah Citadel level. Toodles.